So how do you create a brand that truly represents who you are and the products you sell, as well as building a business that you can scale online? That is what this podcast will help you do. My name is Henry Kaminski Jr., and welcome to the Brand Doctor Podcast.
Let me just make this statement loud and clear. Jersey's here, Jersey's here.
What is going on, everybody? Today's topic of conversation will be, will creating more content get you more clients? Oh, man. What a topic. Okay. A lot of people will say, yeah, you got to be putting yourself out there every single day to, out of sight, out of mind. And I agree with all of that. All of it. But what if you're putting out the wrong content? What if you're putting out tons of content and nothing's happening? No sales. No following. What happens then? Let me share with you a quick story. I'm going to take you back. 4 years ago. Okay. Started getting my online presence together. Start putting out tons of content, and nothing's happening. Why? Because it's the wrong content. I was talking a lot about personal development and some of the things that I was struggling with at that moment in my life. And although the content was rich, perhaps, if I was a personal development guy, it wasn't on brand. It wasn't on topic with what I actually do for work, which was at brand development, brand strategy, building sites and funnels and brand identities online. It had nothing. I wasn't talking about any of that. I was talking about, feeling like a failure and how I got through it. Right? It didn't hit. I had people going up to my wife saying, is Henry not doing, design work anymore? Is he like some motivational speaker now? My wife was like, I don't even know. Like, I got to talk to him. Right. And then that was like a sign. That was literally like a sign from the universe saying, like, Henry, what are you doing? I think you need to figure something else out because this content strategy isn't working. So I want to share with you today a really cool tactic that is going to help you tremendously create less content and make it more impactful and have it converting at a higher rate. So let's get into this strategy, okay? It's not about creating more content. It's about creating more intrigue. All right. So once we understand who we are, what we do, and who we do it for, and why we're doing it, now we have to create the intrigue. So here's a strategy that I'm putting into place literally as we speak, that I'm already seeing results. So this show is getting 90,000 downloads a month online. And I said, wow, there is a big audience on this podcast platform. Why am I not focusing all of my energy on podcasting? Now, I happen to love video and live stream, so I'm killing two birds with one stone. I do the live stream here, and then a month later, I put it on iTunes and Spotify with, I usually sort of synthesize it down and edit it down. But now what I'm doing is I'm taking little bite-sized pieces of the podcast and I'm creating little 60-second snippets. And I'm promoting the podcast through paid advertising and through shout outs and through my social media platforms organically. And it's a 60-second bite of the show, but at the end of the 60 seconds, it just drops off. It fades to black. It leaves them hanging. It just, you're like so excited to hear the next thing. And I just go, you want to hear the rest of it? You got to go to the podcast. So I am creating more intrigue, and I'm creating more interest, and I'm leaving them hanging, and I'm sending them over to the podcast. You know who does this amazingly well? Like Netflix series. Like those series, the most popular series that get you binging for like hours at a time. The one that I think of right away that had me going, it's not on Netflix, it was on Disney Plus, but that Mandalorian series, man, they were so good at leaving you hanging. Like I almost watched the whole series, like literally in one sitting. So I started creating these little snippets of my podcast, and with huge cliffhangers at the end. And people are just so intrigued to want to listen to the rest of the show. They go to my iTunes, or they go to iTunes, they go to Spotify, and they listen to the show, right? And that's where they get all the value. So these are the things that we need to start to do as content creators to create more intrigue. So it's not about creating more content. It's about creating more intrigue, to get people more interested, to get people to follow you, to get people to learn more about you, and get them to take the next logical step to where you want them to go. So I want you to keep this in mind next time you create a piece of content is, am I creating intrigue with my content? Or is it just more content? All right. Intrigue is what's going to convert them into paying customers, not more and more content. I hope this is sinking in. I hope this is making sense. So I want you to close your eyes and imagine for a second, you're now creating half the amount of content, but you're generating more money because your content is more on brand, more on topic. It's creating more intrigue inside of your listeners or watchers or viewers or whatever you want to call them, readers. What about creating more content that converts? This is the name of the game moving forward, guys. Let's start creating more intrigue. How do we do that? Leave them hanging. I want to share this with you before I go. So I'm taking you back to my pre-marriage, okay? Taking you back to my old dating days. The women that were very attractive to me were the women that kind of left me hanging. Like, you know, I shot them a text message, they shot me back, and then they disappeared for a day. And then they came back, and then they disappeared for a day, and then they came back. And man, those were the women that were like, I couldn't get enough of. But the women that were just like constantly in my text messages, constantly asking me to hang out, constantly just there, I got bored of them. I don't know how else to say it. I just got bored of them. And, nothing ever worked out. Those relationships never worked out. It's the same thing here, guys. It's the same thing here. Think about what piques your interest, what gets you excited, what gets you wanting more. There's your answer. So it's not about creating more content. It's about creating more intrigue. I'll see you on the next episode, guys. Take care.